So we are starting off exactly where we left on Saturday, and I am using three beautiful colours by Arteza. Now they are chocolate brown, cotton white and peach. Honestly, perfect for seashell colours. Now, the first thing I'm doing, I have sped this little bit up for you because it was quite time consuming. I'm referencing back on the seashell. So top right of the screen, you can see the seashell that has been moulded from this. Now, I'm kind of referencing it. I want to get the lines, I want to get the dots, and I'm just using the cream, the white and the brown to do this, and then I'm just backing it fully in that cotton white. Now this, honestly, these colours are inspired by a video I did a solid 3 years ago. I made miniature shells from a pre-made mould and I used these exact three colours. I went back to check the video to find out which three colours I used because the results from that video were beautiful and I knew I had to use the same colours again. So all I'm doing is going in with a paintbrush and I'm just brushing the insides of the moulds using the brown, the cotton white and the beigey peach. Now I'm not really, what can I say? I am intending on these colours. I'm being intentional with the colours. I'm just not being neat. I'm trusting the process of kind of just throwing all the colours in there and hoping for the best. Now this is the mould. This is the biggest seashell. I obviously had to get right deep down in there into all of the nooks and crannies, and I went in with a bit of brown, in with a bit of beige, in with some of the cotton white, back in with some brown, back in with some beige, back in with the cotton white. Really, other than that, there's no method. I want to call it the shove it all in, hope for the best and trust the process method, because truly when it comes to creating a seashell, these colours are just utterly perfect. And yeah, I had absolute faith and I fully trusted the process because I knew how this video had turned out 3 years ago. I knew I was going to get similar results, so I cannot tell you how happy I was knowing that I've got the exact three colours. Like, imagine, I haven't used them up. Like, that was just such a winner. Anyway, like I said, I have speeded this up because this was quite time consuming and all I had to do on this one was just trim off a bit of excess and crack on. I really just used 3 to 4 colours. Okay, this colour here is actually a reddy colour. I need to get the name of it. I'll put it on the screen. I wanted to add a little bit of the red. So the flat seashell had this colour in it as well. It's like a reddy burgundy colour. And that was it. That was it. I made an absolute mess. Make sure you're wearing a dust mask, by the way. I was using a lot of mica powder, so I'm very conscious. I'm wearing my dust mask, the same dust mask that I wear when I use Jesmonite. Now to back these, I'm actually backing them in a beautiful white shimmery mica powder, again from the Resin Pro range. Now, black is generally the colour that people back their pieces in. We've said it, everyone knows it now. If you're putting mica powder into your moulds, pronounced all my T's there, people. If you're putting your mica powder in your moulds, most people know to back in black makes the mica powder pop. However, I wanted these as seashell-like and as pearlescent-like as possible, so I knew that going for this really light cream colour would be a winner for me. By the way, this is real time. Your screen has not frozen. I am pouring this resin about as slow as I've ever poured resin in my life. I am letting the resin do the work its way into all of the nooks and crannies because I know that the inside of this seashell mould was super detailed. There were so many lumps and bumps and ins and outs and I just was going so slow. So I promise you, this is not slowed down. That was real time. Real time of me pouring the resin about as slow as a snail. I decided to kind of stop halfway, give it a bit of a wiggle, a bit of a shove, only on this big one because, yeah, it was the big one that I really wanted to work and I was most excited about. So you'll see here, I'm not filling these up to the very top, and that is why I said in Saturday's video, I wasn't worried about how good a finish the polymer clay was. I wasn't worried about it because I knew that I really wasn't going to be filling them right up to the top anyway, and the top of these moulds, of course, is where that polymer clay was. So again, you can be messy with your polymer clay. I did the same thing on these moulds as well. I did pour really, really slowly because of the way the seashells spiral out to that tip. I wanted to make sure that that resin really did get in there. Now, resin, of course, is self-leveling, but every now and again you can get some air bubbles trapped. So I gave it a bit of a wiggle and a bit of a shimmy and a shake, even though I know it is resin and we don't usually do that with resin. But it worked. Oh gosh, I'm so excited to show you these results. I cannot even cope. Oh. Anyway, okay. We are now pouring the two conicals and the flat shell. Same colour scheme. They've all got the very same kind of muted, natural, organic seashell tones. I haven't gone for anything wild. If you wanted to do neon seashells, neon seashells would be very cool. But yeah, I just carried on pouring until they were completely filled up and I was happy. You can already see this cup has got a ton of resin in it. I made way too much, most unlike me. So I do have some molds off to the side that I use the rest of that resin up in, and this is what they're looking like. I do actually leave this now. I am using Vista Turbo, which is a super speedy fast cure resin. You can demold after 5 hours, but I did leave this for around about 8 to 9 hours. Came back in the evening and oh, guys, look at this. This is ridiculous. Like, if you found this on the beach, you cannot tell me you wouldn't think this was a real seashell. Like, I was so happy. I was honestly squealing with excitement the same way I was when the mould worked. I felt that. I felt this rush of, oh my, stop it. Like, just stop it. Sometimes when you do something, you don't know if it's going to work, and it works. It's the best feeling in the world. Now, as for these conicals, they came out beautifully, but you can very much see that these are not real. You know what I mean? The mica powder does have this shimmer to it. It does have a pearlescent feel to it, a shimmer that seashells don't. So seashells are really matte in colour and matte in nature, and I guess that's just nature, isn't it? So yeah, if you put them up against the original seashell, you can totally see. I think these two here are the two that looked the least like the original. Now, this is the mould I was holding my breath for. I honestly was holding my breath. I already knew after giving it a wiggle that these would come out really, really easily. The silicone has worked like a dream. The first shell out, I could not believe the detail. I don't know why, because silicone does pick up detail, but actually when you compare it to the original shell, because of the mica and the shimmer in the mica, the detail is so much more pronounced. You can see so much more in the fake resin shell than you can in the natural shell. So yeah, my colours were way off on that one. I really wasn't comparing. Next one up is the mid-sized shell. Beautiful, so beautiful, honestly. Over the moon, absolutely over the moon with these. You know, the possibilities are endless. You could just make unlimited amount of shells for unlimited amount of projects. And this is it next to the original. Weirdly, I think it looks smaller than the original, but that must be the colouring. But it has picked up every little bit of detail. And like I say, because it's the mica, it's showing up even more. Like the lines, the ridges, all of those ridges. Okay, now, okay. Are you guys ready? Are you ready for this? Oh, this is the pièce de résistance, the big one, the big boy, big daddy. Let's go. Oh my goodness me, I'm in love. The detail, it has picked up everything. I am over the moon that this has worked. This has by far been my favourite DIY silicone mould video to date. It is just a game changer for me. It's just giving me so much energy, and knowing that whenever a seashell enters my life, I know now that I can make a mould of it. you know? I don't have to just have one seashell. I don't have to just look at this seashell and think that's so pretty. Ooh. No, I can mould it. I can make a mould of it. And the beautiful thing is, these are objects found in nature. So there ain't no copyright. Nobody's going to come and find you a year later and say, oi, oi, you made my mould. No, I didn't. Found it on the beach. Yeah, I just head over heels. I'm so happy they worked. Sometimes you set out to do something, you've never done it before. Yes, I could have Googled, like I said in Saturday's video. I'm not saying this is original. I'm not saying that I'm the first person to ever make a silicone mould from a seashell. Pretty sure I'm not, but I didn't check. I didn't go online. I didn't go on YouTube. I wanted to do it for myself. I didn't want to look, because if I saw something, I'd be like, oh man, you know, like, obviously if I did, I would always shout people out. I always like to name the people that inspire me, but right now I feel like I've inspired myself, which is a good thing, right? It's a good thing. But these two here are absolutely my favorites. You can see some imperfections. There are some, how can I describe those kind of folds? There are some folds around the widest area, and there are some imperfections. Obviously the silicone perhaps did not get down and in and under those folds, but really, I mean, come on. The detail is just sublime. I'm loving them. I'm absolutely loving them. I hope you have enjoyed this double video. I'm so sorry I split it into two, but I really felt like a 30 to 40 minute video was just going to be too long. And in all honesty, my watch time is not that long. If I put out a 20-minute video, my average watch duration is like 8 minutes. 8 minutes. If I put out a 10-minute video, my average views is 3 minutes. So for me to put out a 40-minute video, I just think it would have done me more damage than anything. But yeah, I really hope you've enjoyed both of these. Guys, go for it. Grab your polymer. Grab some seashells, mould those babies, because the fun to be had is immense, absolutely immense. I feel so inspired by this. I hope it's inspired you guys as well. Possibilities are endless. Thank you so much to Karey for the seashells. Thank you, of course, to Let's Resin for the silicone. I am a silicone ambassador for Let's Resin, so all of the details will be in the description box below. I massively appreciate you if you are still here, especially if you have come from the first video on Saturday. Today is obviously Monday, and this is the second video in this series. On Saturday, I showed you how I actually made the moulds, and if you haven't seen that, that will also be linked below, and I massively appreciate you all. Seriously, cannot say that enough. I will see you all in the next video, which will be Wednesday. Until then, bye.